Oh, recording is now in progress, and I'm gonna share the screen, and we're gonna view slideshow. Boom. Welcome to the fourth edition of Unlock Your eBay Entrepreneurs. Learn how to make your first $1,000 on eBay. So we're teaching the newbies and anybody interested on getting into eBay how to make your first 1,000. It may seem like it's challenging, but it's very, very simple. And I'm your host, David Allen with We Buy iPhones, and then we have the co-host, Shoe Solution 6. And I'm going to give the mic to Shoe, and he's going to tell you why he is the eBay expert who's going to coach you on making your first 1,000.
All right, what's going on? My name is D. Mathis, the owner of Shoe Solution 6. I'm happy to be here with my bro, David, and it's just gonna be a good space. It's gonna be good information that you can take with you and do great things and also pass down to other people that you care about.
I'm Dave Allen with We Buy iPhones LLC. I try to be as simple and keep it as simple as possible. And I have an electronics brokerage, meaning I buy and I sell electronics. And over the last year, I made $150,000. However, I've been selling on eBay for about 5 years now, and I have the experience, I have the battle wounds, I have the accounts that have been suspended to prove it. And I'm teaching from a place of the things that I wish I knew when I first started, because there was a lot of stuff that I wish I knew and mistakes that I could have avoided had I had an eBay expert like myself or D Mathis with Shoe Solution 6 teaching and going over the no-nos or what you should do instead. So to cover last week's topic, we talked about bad feedback, how to respond, and how to maintain a positive reputation. We had discussed the topic that when you're dealing with feedback and the customer, they may have had a bad day and they may be taking it out on you. However, as the seller, you do not want to stoop to that level of arguing with the customer. You want to maintain a business, you want to maintain a professional manner and address the customer's concern. We talked about storage and keeping your listing and your items safe. You want to keep your items organized so that way when you do receive a shipment or you receive a purchase, it's easy to find. You don't have to go around looking through your closet. You don't have to look up under the bed like, where is the item at? You know where it's at. Shipping materials. We went in detail talking about the importance of shipping materials, how shipping materials can play a major role in what you spend on shipping. And then I'm gonna let D cover the next three.
All right, you ready for me to take this thing over? All right, so my first one is progress. Return and disputes. Sound like I have some feedback.
Try one more again.
All right, returns and disputes.
Okay.
All right, so returns are important because you want to make sure that you're taking care of your feedback, right? With returns, of course, anytime you're sending items out, it's just a number game before someone receive an item and realize they didn't want it, it was broken, it didn't fit, whatever the case is, let that person send the item back, right? And as a top-rated seller, you end up saving on eBay fees if you're a top-rated seller. And to become a top-rated seller, you have to sell so many items, have so many transactions, and that's what you want to strive for eventually as a top-rated seller. But make sure you're always taking care of your customer. And by doing that is giving them excellent customer service. And part of customer service is returns. And what you want to do is, and when they ask for it, you send them a shipping label that you will pay for, and it goes straight to their email. They'll be able to print the label out and then ship your item back to you. Once you see that item, you check it out, Make sure it's in the original package, not original package, but in original condition. You know, it's not beat up or torn, or they did anything weird to it. And if they did do it, then you can also do a partial refund. For example, if the shoe has some kind of stain, dirt, or something on it, or whatever the item is, you can still resell it, but it's not in perfect condition. You can give them a partial refund. With disputes, sometimes you may have a customer that's trying to get over on you, or they doing something unethical, or don't have the great integrity, and you can dispute it. So basically, you can reach out to eBay and let them know that something is fishy, something is going wrong with this customer. I want you to look into the matter and dispute this case. You can also dispute feedback. So sometimes a customer can have some maybe mental issues, they had a bad day, whatever the case may be, and they leave you bad feedback when actually you did great customer service. You can have that feedback removed. All you have to do is just reach out to eBay, let them look into it, and give them 24 to 48 hours, and more than likely it'll come off, right? So don't get overwhelmed if you receive some feedback. Just be aggressive. Same thing with the returns. Soon as they ask for it, you send a label. Soon as you get the item back, be aggressive. So you go ahead and refund their money, because if not, eBay will do it within 48 hours. After 48 hours, they'll step in and refund if they see everything is legit. And it's not a big deal if they do have to refund the money, but it's like a small strike on your account if they constantly see that you're not stepping in and sending the money faster, and having them do the work and do the customer service part on your account, right? So that's my tip, you know what I'm saying, in a nutshell, because I want to keep this brief so you can get the information and don't be stagnant, and go ahead and get your eBay account open so you can make your first $1,000, and that's on returns and disputes.
Networking, you always want to network. I feel we're going to make it short and get straight to the point. Networking effectively to grow your business, find mentors and valuable connections. You always want to be putting yourself in position with people who can make your eBay experience that much better, and then vice versa. If I have a piece of information or a lead, a source, or a vendor that I could refer to D Mathis as a friend and as a colleague, I'm gonna be sure to do that. That's why networking now, or it may be a piece of information that I wish I knew that I didn't know that he may tell me, and vice versa, that it helps make me an additional 10,000. And then I think for me, out of the entire presentation last week, learning your niche, picking a niche, becoming the best at it. That way you can know this is a good item, if this is a rare item, if this is a slow item, if this is a fast selling item, is this an expensive item, what to look for, because you know the niche. And what we're going to do, because we spent last week talking about last week's topics, we're going to spend this week talking about this week's topic. Do you want to talk about double checking your labels?
Yes. You want to double check your labels, because it's going to cost you a lot of money if you send the wrong item to the wrong person. Of course, I've did it a few times. I've been selling on eBay for over 10 years now, and it happens, right? So that's why I'm bringing this up, because that mistake can cost you, you know, $20, $100. It just depends on how far you ship this item out, right? And how big the item was, how much the item cost, or if the person is honest enough to send the item back, right? So, for example, I've sent a pair of shoes to Philadelphia and maybe send a pair to California. Anytime I send to the West Coast, it's more expensive than sending to the East Coast or the Midwest, right? So I sent the wrong item. The person sent it back from California that was expensive, and then the person from Pennsylvania didn't send the item back at all, right? So now what I thought, after communicating with both customers, letting them know that they'll receive their item soon, once I receive it back, I couldn't even send it back because the customer didn't send it back, right? So now I just send them a full refund, right? So what you want to do is, every time you send your labels out, after you print your labels out, you put them on top of the package, and then you want to double check before you take the box down, or just depending on if you have stickers or if you have sheets where you're cutting them and using the tape to apply it to the package. Just do a double check before they go out, and it'll save you money in the long run, because that will cut into your budget or to your profits. If you constantly having to have that item shipped back and then reship to the original customer. So that's a great tip. Make sure, spend the extra minute, a few seconds to double check you send it to the right location.
Man, he's right on with that. Like double checking your label is so important to maintain just a good seller reputation, but also just to cut down on time wasted and then unnecessary shipping fees, like by providing the correct information and then just taking a moment to just double check, looking at the label itself and then looking at the item before you get to the carrier, that, hey, let me look at my eBay account and just confirm that this shipping label matches this particular product. Because the last thing that you want to do for a bulky item, I ship a lot of bulky items, is ship the wrong item to the wrong person. So let's say I had a Sonos speaker. It's pretty decent size. I shipped it to somebody in Alaska. They claimed they didn't get it. I know I checked my label. They said that they didn't get it, that the address was wrong, that they updated it in eBay. Again, they said that the address wasn't correct. However, as the eBay seller, that is an expense that I had to incur on my end to make sure that the customer was satisfied. So what I did was communicated to the customer, as well as communicated to eBay, notifying them of the address change. I had the customer to send me the partial payment for the shipping, and we addressed the issues. But if you make sure that your addresses are correct for your shipping labels, this is something that you can avoid. Next slide, we're going to talk about, I'll take this one. We're going to talk about the correct product information. Providing the correct product information is essential. When you're selling on eBay, buyers want to know exactly what they're purchasing, and inaccurate information can lead to returns and negative feedback. You're going to have somebody who the first thing they see is the price. They're like, oh my God, why is it this price? And for me, 6 out of 10 times, you have somebody who doesn't read the description. They just go right to your inbox and send you a message saying, what's wrong with it, when it's detailed. This is just for me. So to avoid that, I provide the correct product information. To me, this is essential. Buyers want to know exactly what they're getting. So to my buyers, I make sure that I provide all the information. So that way I can avoid any returns, any negative feedback, any buyer saying that they received something that they didn't, because I make sure, even if it's a tiny scratch on the left-hand side, that tiny scratch on the left-hand side is included in the description. And by double checking and ensuring that the product information is accurate, I build trust and I make sure that my buyer receives exactly what they're getting. You got anything to add to that, D?
No, I think you got it covered on this one.
I think I got an example. An example would be, you got an eBay sale that was mislisted. You said it was a camera in excellent condition. The buyer's excited. They're going to get this camera that would normally cost $280 for $200. And when they receive it, they're angry because they received a camera that they noticed was scratches. And they thought it was perfect, like new condition. Because again, you copied, you pasted, you're just trying to move inventory. But every buyer is different. And I move in a manner that if I get me a buyer who may be very, very strict, who may be pinpointing the smallest details, I treat every buyer as if they may operate in that manner. So by providing the complete description in every defect, they can't say anything. They know exactly what they're getting. And then that's for me with providing the correct information. You want to make sure that when you put it in your description, when you put it in your title, that you put every bit of information. That way, on the selling process, the buyer knows what they're getting.
Correct.
avoid common shipping mistakes. I'm gonna let you get that, dude.
Okay. I thought you had this one covered, but I can jump into this one. Shipping mistakes. So that's very similar to what I was talking about with like returns and disputes and checking your labels, right? So with a shipping mistake, you can end up shipping an item for more than what you could have shipped it for. So for example, you have a box that weighs 1 pound, and then the item on the inside weighs 12 pounds. And you shipped it priority when you could have shipped it flat rate box, right? So what cost you $32 to ship, you could have had it shipped out for $18, right? So that would definitely be a mistake. What you want to do is go to USPS.com, open up your account with the post office, and they'll send you free boxes, free bags, and that will save you tons of money, right? You want to get all the free supplies you can get. I mean, another one is asking your family members for free shipping supplies as well. I mean, everybody in the world is constantly ordering offline, whether it's eBay, Amazon, whatever the case may be. They're receiving boxes, they're receiving bubble wrap, they're receiving paper. Some people still get the Sunday newspaper. All of these things is going to save you money in the future. So you want to go ahead and get you a stash. You want to get you a designated area in your workspace, home, office, storage unit, whatever the case may be, and load up on the free supplies, because that's going to cut into your bottom line. It's a big deal. It's going to make the difference between, you making your first $1,000 or maybe your first $900 at eBay, right? So definitely get your shipping supplies together. And sometimes you can even go to other brick and mortar stores like Dollar General, Dollar Tree. You can go to golf stores. You can go to mechanic shops. Everybody's always ordering, and especially when you are what they call a whatever or everything seller, where you're selling anywhere from furniture to clothes to shoes, whatever the case may be, you're going to need different size boxes. And those boxes cost money if they're unusual box. So you want to check out some of these places so you can get some of the free boxes so you make all the money, right? You don't want to be throwing away money just to ship an item out. So that's definitely one of the mistakes you can make by shipping a product for more than what it actually had to cost you. So beware of trying to ship something too fast where you could have saved some money by shipping it in the best package. You have something you want to add to that, Dave?
I think the best thing I would add is you definitely want to start getting your boxes. You want to start getting your tape now before you need them. The last thing that you would ever want, for me, last summer I was shipping generators and heavy industrial equipment. So think of 50 to 80 pound packages, and I had to create boxes. Yes, I had to get me one of those extra large to 2X large moving boxes, get me a razor blade, cut it to shape to fit the box. And what I didn't know at the time is, one, they don't make specific boxes, so I had to make it. And then two, these boxes cost anywhere from $8 to $20 when you go to your Cube Smart, when you go to your storage places, or even when you go to Home Depot, and when you need to get 20 at a time, that's like you mentioned, that's an easy $200 in just shipping material. So if you have these boxes ready, if you have these boxes ready to go when you need it, you don't have to worry about it. And then the same way with tape, I noticed when you go to your over-the-counter stores, your Walmarts, your Targets, you're going to be overcharged for tape. When you get like a basic roll, you may be looking at anywhere from $5 to $10 for 2 rolls. In comparison, if you go on Amazon, you may be able to get a 48 pack for, I think I paid $30 for a 48 pack. And I use tape. I run through tape. I keep tape in the car. I keep tape in my truck. I keep tape in my office. I keep tape in my house, depending on if I need something. So the best example I would give is, if you're selling multiple versions of the same product, double check that the product information is correct. You want to avoid shipping the wrong version to the wrong person. You may be selling, D Mathis is the man for apparel. So you may be selling 2 pairs of shoes. You got one that is a size 9 and you got one that's a size 10. And again, you're just trying to rush, trying to get things in, out, and to the customer in the shortest amount of time. You accidentally ship the size 10 to the person who ordered the size 9. Now you got 2 people who have received the wrong items when all you had to do was just pay attention and avoid basic shipping mistakes, because it's going to tie you up with your time and it's going to tie you up with your money, because now you got to facilitate either the purchase of getting new shipping labels for both buyers to return, or have them return the item to you for you to return back to them. And all that can be avoided by having the appropriate shipping and double checking, because you have, again, even myself, you have instances where you don't put the appropriate amount of postage, and USPS will ship you the item back, and then on the back end you had a customer asking, where's my item at? And you know you shipped it, but what you didn't know is that there was an inappropriate amount of postage. So now they're shipping you back and you got to relay the message to the buyer. So you always want to make sure on your end, after you finish the sale, that the shipping is correct, how you ship the item, to make sure that it gets there intact. Because additionally, the last thing that you will want is for the item to break. And me as an electronics broker, the complete last thing that I want to deal with is a customer texting me that they received a cracked device. Now I have to either give them a partial refund or take the device back at full refund value. And that could be avoided by shipping correctly, and then shipping with the right material. So the next topic we have is dealing with returns, with D being the go-to with the most feedback. I'm gonna let him go over the topic of dealing with returns and disputes.
David, we took care of returns and disputes. I think on the next slide would be quick responses to customers.
Okay. Let's do quick responses. Okay, give me what you got, dude.
All right, quick responses is going to allow you to get quick cash into your account, right? So I want you to imagine, right, when someone receives a check, usually around February, March, maybe it's their birthday, maybe it's Christmas, the average consumer likes to spend that money right away, right? You know, it's what they call burning a hole in your pocket.
Let me mute.
Right, and this is what happened. When you receive money, you automatically may say, you know what, I want to choose this. I might pay a bill. I may buy myself a gift. I want to take somebody out to dinner, whatever the case may be. And that's what happens on eBay. Someone sends you a message and say, okay, I would like to buy this new pair of shoes, size 10 Nikes. And because I was going about my day, maybe I was going to the gym, I was out delivering, I didn't respond fast enough. Maybe it took hours, or maybe it was later on that evening before I got back with them, right? And that cost me a sale. Now, usually a customer, they'll have a window open, because what happened is in my store, you can make me an offer on hundreds and hundreds of items, right? So if I have it for $49.99, you can send an offer for $39.99. If I don't accept that offer in a timely amount, what happens is a customer is going to go to a different store owner inside of eBay, and they'll find that same item somewhere else, and that other seller will go ahead and respond much faster, right? So by the time you responded to them, they already made their purchase, and they're going to let you know, oh, I already found something else. Thank you for your time. So what you want to do is respond very fast to make your offers. Same thing with customer service. You know, if they've reached out to you that morning, by that evening, try to reach out to them. 24 hours at the most, it should take, unless it's on the weekends. On the weekends, you have a little bit of a window there. But Monday through Friday, if a customer reach out and says, okay, well, I received a package, it was broken, or I would like to buy another one. What are your return policies? Sometimes they can be simple questions. I get shipping questions a lot, because sometimes I have big items that weighs hundreds of pounds and it's a local pickup. So they want to know, what would it cost to send it to New York, a different route versus the post office or FedEx. and I would have to go through uship.com or use some of my local courier services that I will get estimates from. I want to be able to get that estimate out as fast as possible. You want to keep that customer engaged, because what's happening is if you don't respond fast enough, that money has to go somewhere else. That's how that customer is thinking. Well, I have money right now and I got to get it out of my pocket. And you want to be the one to receive it. So quick responses, and always keeping in mind that that customer is valuable. They basically are your boss. We end up opening up our own business, whether that's an eBay store or whatever your LLC may be. But the customer is the boss. They the person who decides if you get paid or not. So treat each and every customer like they mean something and that they're very valuable. So that's my takeaway on quick responses and customers.
That's a really astute takeaway. I feel like when selling items on eBay, it's always important to respond to customers' inquiries and issues in a timely manner. D Mathis, his preference is, what is it, an hour? I try to do within 3 to 5 hours because at times I'm busy. It may be me and my assistant, and we're trying to do so many tasks at one time that, hey, we can't just stop and answer a message immediately. But will make sure that within a 3 to 5 hour time frame that I give the person, the customer, the answer to the questions. And with me selling electronics, I get a fair amount of questions, a lot of lowball messages, a lot of people trying to persuade me to sell them my inventory. However, I do make time for it. I make time for the shipping, I make time for the customer service, and I make time for the client acquisition because you're running a small business. You have to be a jack of all trades. So providing quick responses show that you value your customer and are committed to providing excellent customer service. eBay takes note of how fast you respond. Do you respond in a time, and if you respond in a timely manner? So similar, if a buyer has an issue with the item that they purchased, are you slow to respond? Are you fast to respond? Because this is notated in the same way how if a buyer opens up dispute, are you going to let eBay handle it? Because if eBay handles the dispute, they're going to build up negative feedback against you. And this could all be avoided by responding in a timely manner. Anything you want to add to this, D?
Yes, I actually do want to add something, because technically, from my understanding, everybody who's in my position or higher, who's making more than $100,000 a year, usually the go-to is first thing in the morning before you even ship your items out. And shipping is one of my top priorities. I ship within one handling business day, so I ship 5 days a week, sometimes on Saturdays, to give good customer service. But my point I'm getting to is, when you first open up your laptop or your computer or your cell phone, go straight to customer service. Because what happens is somebody could make a purchase while you're sleeping. It happens all the time, right? Which is a great thing. You wake up, you see the item, it needs to be shipped out, but they sent you a message, right? And they say, well, they changed their mind, they don't want it, or they want to cancel the order, or they want to add something to the order. They want to know, can you combine the shipping if they buy something else? So you always want to look at your, your customer service. You want to see your messages. You want to look at your returns, any kind of responses. Do that right at the beginning of your workday when it comes to eBay, because that's going to help and save you some money and some headaches you can avoid by go ahead and looking at your messages first, or basically getting back with that customer. That way, you can get on the best customer service. That way, after that, you can go ahead and focus on shipping or listing your items and the rest of the things it takes to be successful on eBay.
All right. And I'm going to tackle the topic of the importance of just starting. You want to make your first 1,000. In essence, you just got to start. Starting your eBay reselling journey can be daunting. Well, what if it doesn't sell? Or what if I don't make my money? There's so many different scenarios that a person can do in relation to not starting, procrastination. I'll do it later. I do it when the time is right. However, if you're new to the platform, if you never sold an item, the first thing that you want to do is create an eBay account. Find items around your house, list them, this is crucial. Just getting a feel for the platform. By starting, you gain valuable experience and you learn from the success. When I first started, I didn't really take eBay serious. Another, it was just another platform. For I needed a hustle. I needed to find me a way to make additional source of income. And it was this electronics broker. He mentioned selling used electronics on eBay. And lo and behold, I did it. I started, I listed, I think it was like a cracked iPhone 7. I listed that iPhone 7. And from that point on, I use that to finance my lifestyle. I use that when to get me through college. But not to go on a tangent. Don't be afraid to take the leap and start selling on eBay. Make time for it. If you want to become an eBay expert and you want to make your first 1,000, create the account. Start with time, with practice. You grow. You learn the eBay algorithm. You learn the eBay algorithm. You kind of get a feel for it. Starting your eBay reselling journey, it can be a challenge in the beginning, but what isn't a challenge? When you first learn to walk, you've had to learn to crawl. You had to trip a few times. And again, I'm still on my journey of making my first eBay million. However, before I can get to the $100,000 mark, I had to get to the $10,000 mark. And before I could get to the $10,000 mark, I had to get to the $1,000 mark. And it was just slow increments. But what I did to get to my first 1,000, I started. And it's a lot of people who from these sessions, they're giving good questions. They're asking, how can they start? By starting. Anything you want to add, D?
Yeah, and you hit it on the nose, really. And I think the value for me and whoever is listening to this call, whether they're live or they're going to listen to it later on YouTube, whatever the case may be, is that find your why, really, why you want to get your first $1,000. And sometimes it can be for your children. I know we're at the age, most of the people who probably listen to this call is probably in their late 30s, their 40s, 50s and up, right? So it could be your children, it could be your grandchildren, and you can teach them how to sell on eBay, right? So my youngest daughter is 9, my oldest is 25. So just think, by creating this account, you can teach your children how to sell stuff on eBay. And now they have already started making income at the age of 12 or 14 versus going to work at Popeyes or McDonald's making $8, $12 an hour. Now they are already creating that muscle of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. They're already learning customer service and shipping and packaging and all the things it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So that can be your why. The second one is decluttering your home. The less things you have in your home, the happier you are at times. Sometimes you can be more focused, you make better decisions. So getting rid of some of these things you don't wear anymore, the used pocketbooks.
No,
Hello,
I'm not gonna be able to do
hello, you have a question?
Go ahead, D.
Oh, you got it? All right. So there could be another why is your decluttering. The third one is it could be a special account. Now I talk about this a lot. It could be your business account or your education account, whether you want to buy courses, books that you want to read later in the future. By selling your first 1,000 on eBay, you can allocate that money straight into that account so you can continue to grow your mind. The other one could be a place of vacations. I think vacations are asset. Once upon a time, I thought they was a liability, or I would lose money because I wasn't focusing on making money when you're going on vacation. But it actually slows your brain down so you can think and focus on how to make more money, right? So you make your first $1,000, take you or your spouse or yourself out on a vacation. You can figure out how to make even more money by focusing on the things you need to do to grow your income. That's all I had to say for you, David.
I would say to anybody who watches the live or who is watching the recording, start. Create the eBay account. If you haven't made your eBay account already, find you one item that you want to list. And even if you're just doing one listing a day, just list one item a day. And when the sales starts to come, you improve and you get better. But you're never going to get from point A to point B if you don't put no motion or you don't put no action into it. And this is what I want for the students and just the people watching is to start. Me and D, we've been talking about, hey, you make 6 figures selling on eBay. I make 6 figures selling on eBay. Let's put together a course. And we talked about it for, I think it probably a few months, just back and forth and back and forth. And we finally started. We put it together. We put it into fruition, and we created this as a channel to teach others what eBay can bring to them, just an additional source of income. That's how I look at eBay. It's an additional source of income. For it to bring in an extra 10K, that's an additional 10K that I wouldn't have. And there's so many entrepreneurs out there who may not want to sell electronics, who may not want to sell apparel, but because you have an expertise in your niche, you know what stethoscopes sell, or you know which tools sell, you know industry specific tools of your niche. You can use eBay to resell those items. And even if it just makes you an extra $1,000, it's an extra $1,000. So what I'll do is I'll open the floor for any questions for the next 5 minutes. Do we have any questions from the participants in the audience?
Hopefully they have some questions so I can get them some answers. If not, I got somewhere we can close out with.
Okay.
All right. So now what I want you to do is, because I know we got some real grown folks going to be listening to this call, and everybody got to retire eventually, right? You don't want to just work forever, right? You want to live life, you want to travel, you want to enjoy your family and the cookout. That's what I do, right? I don't try to just go on vacations. I try to live a life of a vacation, right? So my point I'm getting to, after you make your first $1,000, you can look at it as a extra income to go into your retirement and use it as like a train system, as I thought in my brain, right? So what you want to do is, as soon as you make that $1,000, go ahead and move it into another account, like your Acorn account. Move it into your Robinhood account. So every time you make a sale on eBay, you buy another stock of AT&T, you buy another stock of Ford, and just let that money continue to make you money. So you don't have to invest back into eBay. Just let eBay be the source of that fire and keep flaming it and putting in another vehicle, like I said, Robinhood, or that could be all these other options you can use to continue to make some kind of like compound interest or dividends or things of that nature. So I just wanted to drop that last tip to ignite somebody to go ahead and get started and selling on eBay today to make their first $1,000.
We'll be closing out shortly. If everybody, of all the guests, could leave their email or a number, what I'll do is I'll send a recording of today's recording and a link to the previous recordings for the people who leave their email and the people who leave their phone number. And I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for your time and joining us as we educate the people on eBay. Like, eBay has been beneficial. It has helped me a lot. To be honest, it has helped me to go from staying at my mama's house to having my own place, to being able to travel across the globe and to do things that I normally wouldn't. And again, eBay is just an additional source of income. If it's helping you pay bills, that's what it's for. We got Kenitra. If the other guest wants to leave their information for me to send an email, I will send it, but I will need that information because we're going to close out at 12:20. Kenitra, you got any questions?
No, not right now. I came on a little late, so I'll look at the recording and hit you guys up.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
All right. I guess that's it. That was an amazing session. I thank everybody for coming, and I thank you, D. I'm going to follow up with you. And Kenitra, look out for the email with the recording. I'll have it sent to you today.
Perfect. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
What you think? I think we did.
All right.